Hi, my name is Hina. Welcome to the Feel Fabulous Show.
Yo, radio check. Yeah. Radio check, radio check. How you doing, everybody? This is the Mindful Wizard. I will be joined shortly by the amazing Hina. I'm really excited. So first and foremost, I'm just saying hi to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Steam and Co. Inc. Let me shout you out. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. We're just gonna wait for the guest. When she joins us, we'll start, and it'll be a lot of fun. So everyone, thank you. I am the Mindful Wizard, for those of you that don't know, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. So please stay tuned. Let's have a good time. Hi, everybody. I'm just welcoming you. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Give us a few seconds. I'm going to jump right in. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So my name's Hina from London. Absolutely delighted to be speaking with the Mindful Wizard today. Known as the Mindful Wizard, your name is Stephen Rivera. Have I said it correctly?
Yeah, Stephen Rivera. That's my real name. My wizard name is the Mindful Wizard.
Brilliant. Let me just turn this volume up a little bit. Perfect.
Yeah, 100%. So first and foremost, most importantly, thank you for the opportunity. I'm very excited. I know our listeners are excited. So I wanted to know if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name's Hina. I'm known as a paramedical and a cosmetic tattooist. I'm an author of 2 books, an entrepreneur, a mother of 2 amazing sons, and I absolutely adore animals.
Very cool. Very cool. I want to know what a medical tattooist does. Can you fill me in, please? Can you please teach us?
I know. There's not enough people who still understand what it is. Paramedical tattooing is not your conventional tattoo, so I don't put on skulls or dragons. I treat people who possibly have had burns, scars. I help self-harmers. Absolutely anything that's happened to the skin, I can try and either camouflage it or remodel it.
Very amazing. Very good work. Very important work. Yeah, I did a little research, and I was really amazed at what people can do and what technology is doing.
Yeah. What did you think it was before you actually understood what it was? When you just heard it, what did you think?
To be honest, I was very confused. I was honestly, I just thought it was like if someone had an infliction with something in their skin that they weren't happy about. I was thinking more cosmetic surgery, like if there was an explosion, God forbid, or any fire, anything like that. That's where my mind was going.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is. It's because it's what's happened to their skin after that. And also, sorry, I forgot to mention, most importantly as well, is cancer patients. So often, mostly females will lose a breast, and I recreate the areola with tattoo, mimic, and give an illusion of having a 3D areola. So it's really amazing. It's an amazing, I love my work.
Yeah, 100%. And it shines through what you do. So I like to do a little research before I speak to anyone. And I'm just really amazed at all the things that you've been able to do. I definitely want to talk to you about the book. I think it's both books. And cool. So can I ask you one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Can you please tell us what the Feel Fabulous podcast is about?
Sure. So with my work, you understand it's aesthetics, but healing from outside promotes healing from within. So my 2 books, it's kind of connected. So one is actually about permanent makeup. The other one is spiritual. It's about my mindset and how I got through some very dark periods of my life, Dance with the Universe. So Feel Fabulous is my mission is to make people feel fabulous, full stop. Whether it's through cosmetics, aesthetics, or just in the mind, just uplift and just try to build a community and just really help people out there through my experiences. You know, there's that saying, learn from your mistakes, but you know what? Try and learn from other people's mistakes.
Amen. Amen. And I think that's where we connect with the whole spiritual journey. I think we're searching for similar missions and truths, and we just want to
Yes.
give back.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? So how did you come about the name? I absolutely love. I see I smile every time I even say it, the Mindful Wizard. Where
Thank
did
you.
that
Thank
come
you.
from?
It's funny because once you asked me, the man that pushed me to create this idea, this company joined us. His name is Damon. So I want to shout him out for the idea. Damon Avenger. He's a really powerful social worker and therapist and clinician. I
Huh?
work with, yeah, I get to work with students with special needs, and a lot of them have emotional issues, dysregulation, depression. So through that work, I've started to really connect with those students, and I wanted to give back. And I was always the philosophical wizard. I was always very into Harry Potter. I had Dumbledore's hiding back there. So it just kind of played along. I shifted from philosophical to mindful last year when I officially started the company. And ever
Okay.
since then, yeah, we've been taking off. So I'm
Brilliant.
really happy.
Excellent. So you mentioned you help children.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And what do you do? How do you help them?
So my story is interesting, right? I like to think so, at least. I started as a teacher in jails, juvenile facilities, and I saw a lot of sad people, a lot of young, very smart individuals without the access or accessibility to tools. So I wanted to give back something. I knew I was only going to be with them for 2 weeks because every 2 weeks we would have a new cohort of students. So I
Right.
wanted to teach them something that they can take with them and say, I don't know who this wizard guy is, but he gave me hope for 2 weeks. And that's
Oh,
it. That's all I
oh.
wanted to do.
That's
And
amazing. That is so amazing. So I mean, that, like you said, the similarities there with my podcast, your podcast, and what you do is just to ultimately help people. And I don't know what you've been through, but certainly with me, and this is, we're going to hopefully talk about how meditation literally saved my life. Um, but it's from what I've gone through that I so want to give back, because I was very lucky to get through and still be here. And I'm really grateful for that. And how can I express or give back? And that's just by giving back to other people.
100%. And I think because we're on a similar vibration, a frequency of giving, we get in contact with people that are willing to give so freely.
Yeah.
And and people, I love giving back because it's the only time that I can say I feel like I'm doing something productive. And I love working with all levels. I work with the smallest kids from 5 years old. We work with adults too, so we also do sessions up here.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I work with adults too, so it's growing. I'm just really grateful. I'm just
Yeah.
really grateful.
Sounds amazing. It really does. And it just makes you know, it makes you feel amazing too, though, right? So we're making people feel amazing, but we feel amazing through it.
It's like a gift that just keeps giving. As I help someone, they help me, and I'm put into positions like this where I can be speaking to you and all the lovely listeners. So it's just I'm really humbled by the opportunity.
Oh no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And like you said earlier, like-minded people. I mean, you're on the other side of the world, and I'm over here in London. So how on earth did we connect? Via Instagram. I think it was a post of yours that I just thought, that's interesting. And we got talking through that. Obviously, the Mindful Wizard just hooked me straight away, and I wanted to know more about it. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm really amazed. So why don't we just segue right into meditation? Because I think we both understand the value and how it is important. So if I may, I'll ask you, um, how did meditation save your life? I'm really curious.
Yeah. So I was married. It was an abusive marriage. I was lucky to have got out of it and had freed myself. But it was very difficult getting to that point. So many people in that situation, in an abusive relationship, it's actually far harder to get out of it. So that was really, for me, it was when I finally managed to get out of it, having that strength, 2 young children at 2 and 4, building the courage to break away from that. I literally almost had a nervous breakdown. So once I was out of it, I always describe it as, you know, if you've ever run for a marathon and you've trained and hard, and once you've actually got there and you've achieved that goal and you've got to that end line, you literally collapse because you kept yourself going mentally and physically just to get to that point. And that's exactly what I was doing, because it was very, very difficult for me to get that divorce. And once I did, I literally I was heading for a nervous breakdown. Mentally, physically, I was exhausted. So I thought, okay, I need to go and get some medical help. I need to go and see my doctor. And I did. So when I saw my doctor, now we're talking a good 20 years ago. Okay, so meditation, holistic approaches weren't really around there or very popular. Now my GP, my doctor, once I told him my story, and I cried, and he made me sit on the floor, and he said, have you ever meditated? I said no. So I was like, this is a bit weird, in your doctor's office I'm going to sit on the floor. But I thought, okay, let's give this a go. And he went through a few things. He said, okay, I want you to imagine you're in a happy place, very different from how we may meditate now, but I'm so grateful for it. But he just said, I just want you to imagine you can hear waves and you're just in a happy place. The sun is shining and you feel amazing. And he kept saying that, and then he said, how do you feel? And I just I felt lovely. I felt relaxed. I felt safe. I felt a little bit weird also being in the doctor's office on the floor, but it did completely change everything for me from that day. That doctor could have easily have prescribed me some antidepressants or whatever I needed to make me feel better. He didn't. I am so grateful. I will never forget the fact that he had that time, he gave me that time and helped me through that by meditation. Now I'm a Hindu, so I was brought up, you know, being spiritual and having spiritual values and meditation and different types of prayers. But, you know, whether you practice them or not as a young child is a different thing. But certainly he introduced me back into that, and that is really how it went forward. From that day onwards, I also had some homeopathic medicine, some additional help, and that got me through that to strengthen my mind and my body. You know, body is without a strong mind, you even if you have a strong body, it's nothing. You need that mindset, you need that strong mind, and the meditation definitely helped me there. So that's really my story with my meditation, and it's something I just feel like I said, I'm so grateful for, because really it was unheard of, really. And I still think about it when I try and think of what he looked like. He was a Scottish man, and you just can't imagine him being into meditation. So I just feel like I was blessed that day, and I was taken on a new path and a new journey, and honestly that's helped me ever since, and I've never stopped.
First, thank you for sharing. That was a very open and honest story. And I'm sorry that you went through that, but I'm also grateful that it led you to discovering your true gift. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to ask you this, but it kind of comes up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to fashion myself a healer, right? But through the healers that I've spoken to and the people with really powerful stories, usually they all start with something really traumatic. Do you agree? Am I guessing?
100%. So thank you for saying sorry for what I went through. But in my book, I even express I don't have any regrets, and I'm not sad about anything I went through. Even though it was extremely tough, it was awful, I am so grateful, because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't be where I am. And I help hundreds, thousands of people through my work now, and I would not have been there, because the other flip side is I actually fell ill after a little while, and that led me to my work of tattooing. So I actually needed some work myself. Just it was mild sunstroke. I started losing my eyebrows, my eyelashes, and some of my hair started falling out. Thankfully, God, I got my hair back and most of my eyebrows and most of my eyelashes. But certainly it led me to my work. All this led me to my work and to where I am today. And in my book, Dance with the Universe, I'm very open about this. And I'm really open about it. And why am I so open about it? People say, gosh, that's really hard. You've really exposed yourself. 100%, because anybody, you typically look at me and think, never imagine I would have gone through what I've gone through, because we label people. And you just think, you know, I'm really happy, I'm positive, so that you wouldn't imagine that is there, but it was, and it's led me to be where I am. And people have, going back to what you said, when I'm with my clients and it's funny how people just automatically open up and share their story with you. And I've heard it many times that they just love coming in and they just feel it's like refreshing. And I will just try with my heart to give them some healing.
I think, first of all, very powerful testimony. I think the listeners really enjoy, and I know it's really positive. We need that information, especially now. And I agree, when clients come here, I used to have like this whole routine and like, we're going to cover these 10 things. And 9 times out of 10, they just want to speak to me and bounce ideas off each other in a mindful way.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is amazing. But the amazing thing is this feeling of, I would say, like an energy exchange that happens almost, where the person comes in stressed and you can feel the satisfaction. You can feel the happiness, real happiness.
Yes.
When we go to certain places, it's beautiful. It's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is amazing. It's just a great feeling. I think it's about sharing. But just so, when you meditate, what is your practice? How would you describe? So how do you meditate?
Whoa, here we go. So I have a lot of different practices and routines that I'm working on. What's worked for me currently with what's going on here in reality in New York and everywhere else, what I've done is morning meditation, 20 minutes religiously. I cannot not meditate. That's a very grounding technique.
Right.
Then around lunch, I get into like a little 10-minute meditation. That's just kind of like how I want my day to go. Law of attraction, visualization. And then at night, well, in this situation, right before this live, to calm myself down, I did a Tai Chi.
Oh, lovely.
A little Tai Chi routine, and that really puts me in the physical. And then I don't feel stressed anymore because it's like I'm so here. So my routine is 3-tiered. It's morning is very de-escalate, calm down, get ready for the day. Lunch is very create the new day. And then at the end, I wrap it up with a little Tai Chi to make it fun.
Oh, Tai Chi is amazing.
It's a little combination of that, and it's just fun.
Yeah, that does sound amazing. Tai Chi, I touched on it, but I need to go back to that actually. But even with Tai Chi, when I was moving my hands around, with the movements, I could feel tingle. I could feel the energy in my hands, and I couldn't stop giggling actually because I could feel the energy. It was really fun. But the instructor was just looking at me like I was a bit crazy. But it's because I could feel the energy straight away. It was amazing. So yeah, I mean, your meditation sounds amazing, and it sounds like you're really grounded. I would say for me, and I'm very open in the book about it, is that I need to reground myself. So my personality can just, you know, go off path here and there now and again, and I need to bring myself back. So I will have to just remind myself and go over the steps again and just do things to reground myself. Also, being extremely busy, it's really tough. In my morning thing is I wake up and I do, the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I actually touch the floor and then go to the ceiling. So firstly, grateful to Mother Earth, and then obviously sun salutation, and then just thanking for the day going forward. And then I go into prayers. And I mentioned I was Hindu before, but I actually do the Lord's Prayer. I do Hindu prayers, I do Buddhist prayers, I do I do whatever makes me feel connected to God. So I do beads, I do whatever I need to do to make me feel connected. So that is something I do every single day without fail. And it's probably like you feel it's like not having a shower or something and not starting your day. You have to do that. It's part of your day. And the thing that I say to a lot of people is that actually, you know, when they say, no, I'm too busy, when you have a really, like what you've just done just before this, so if you have a really important day, you have a meeting, something that's, you know, you're really looking forward to, something that's, it's part of your business, whatever, it's even more important to spend that little bit extra time to do your meditation or prayers, and just make sure you reground yourself, tune in your mindset, understand, become mindful, aware, and then go forward.
I agree. I appreciate you sharing your routine. I'm going to try the gratitude. I do my own little gratitude mix. So anytime I see the number 11 or like repeating numbers 333, 555, 1111, I just stop. Literally, I can be doing anything and I will literally stop and just say, I am grateful for this second. And then I do a real grounding breath. Because I've learned that. And since we talked about gems, I also carry my 11 on me as a reminder to stay grounded. Because my 9 to 5 is very stressful. And there's times where students are fighting, and you can imagine what happens in a school, in an urban school in New York City. So it's not easy. So it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. So how do you, so you mentioned that it can, you know, when you're in atmospheres or within energy that can be negative sometimes, it is obviously really important to clear our energy. So do you have rituals? What do you do to clear your energy?
So I never understood how sensitive I was to the outside world until I got a little older. Because I just kind of similar to you, I'm very busy. So I just run on fuel. And now that I'm, you know, getting closer to my mid-30s, I feel the effects of not recharging. So what I've now developed because of this weird routine is Monday through Friday, I work like a maniac. Saturday and Sunday, I'm watching TV. And something as simple as that, I need to.
Yeah.
I need to. Because like you said, we'll lose it. We'll lose all the benefits of meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. One of the things that I try to do is well, before lockdown that was, for about 4 months at a time, I will work solid, and then I will always try to have about 3 or 4 day break, try and go away, a retreat. I try and do them on my own. I really do. I love it. I actually love that time. I love socializing. I have lots of friends, but I'm really, you know, I've got a tiny bit, I am an extrovert, but I have got that part of me which is an introvert as well. So, well, it's ambivert, isn't it? So I like both sides, and I really do go from one extreme to the other. So I love that whole, you know, wonderful high energy, high vibration, but I know when I need to, well, it's still high vibrations, but on a different level, and me and my mind and my body just being a bit slower. And I try and do that every 4 months. Otherwise, I will probably it'll be too much. And I find I'm becoming ungrounded, and my mind's I might be a bit short. I can tell when I'm becoming ungrounded straight away in my actions, you know, my vocabulary. I can tell straight away, and that's it. Okay, Hina, book yourself away or get away and just go for some Reiki. I love Reiki.
Very cool. So similar to you, when I get angry, my jaw tightens. and it's funny, but it's true, because when I'm in a good moment, I'm very loose. And I'm assuming you and I are so similar, but when we're super stressed, we're unproductive.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
that's it. That's it. Because I suppose if you are spiritually inclined like us, it's almost like it's a fog. We just go foggy, and it's like we're in a whole fog. So everything's we can't see clearly. We need to just get rid of those veils and just so we can see clearly again. But also that can happen from environments that we're in when we're collecting everybody else's negative energy. So people like us who are empaths, we absorb an awful lot. It's really important that we make sure we get rid of it as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested. I'm interested in a lot of what you do, but I want to know more about the law of attraction. What do you, or how do you use it? What does it mean to you? How does it play out in your life?
Yeah, so I used to be really clear about this before, but recently I've been obviously learning an awful lot during lockdown, and I've definitely, for me, it's law of attraction. You know, what you put out, you get back. That I definitely agree in, and also it's a bit of karma as well. So definitely, it's very simple terms. If you do bad, bad will come back to you. That's it. Simple. It doesn't work any other way. That in itself helps me a lot when people are stressing. Say, doesn't that bother you, or they've just done something, or something's happened which isn't, which is negative to me. It's like, it doesn't bother me, because the universe or God or whatever you want to call it out there will actually sort that out for me anyway. I don't need to stress over that, because it will all sort itself out. They'll have what's due to come. Not wishing bad upon anybody, but of course, because of the law of attraction and karma, if that's what you do, then that's what you get. But the law of attraction, it means different things for many people, doesn't it? So I do lots of visualization. I do lots of affirmations. My book is full of affirmations, actually. And you've got to be very careful, because throughout the day, it's in a chapter of mine called Hush Your Mind. And sometimes we're so busy with our affirmations and thinking about all these visualizations and trying to think about the law of attraction, that we actually don't shut up in our head. So you actually need to be quiet as well. So going back to meditation and bringing that in this, one of my favorite things to do is when I walk my dog, I call that my meditation walk. So I will normally not take my phone with me. Shouldn't be saying that, but I just have. And so I've just got my dog, no distractions whatsoever, and I really try to make it my mindful or my meditation walk. So I think about nothing else. I really do, and I allow the universe to actually give me signs, so I can now hear back. So whilst we've been working with the law of attraction, and we've been talking to the universe and visualizing this and exchanging all these messages, when have you actually just be quiet so that you can actually take in the messages? And that is one, I would say, that's probably one of the biggest problems with most people, is they pray, they talk, they say please God, they do their affirmations, but you need to be quiet or meditate in order to receive back.
Wow, that was a really beautiful explanation, and I'm thankful for that. I really am. So I want to add a little. I agree with everything that you said. I also agree that if your state of mind isn't clear, you're going to create using the law of attraction, but it's going to work against you. You're going to start to create more of what you don't want, because, like you said, you can't silence this. And I think most people don't even know what silencing this sounds like, feels like, is. I've tried to teach it, and it goes back to the mission, how to teach meditative states and mindfulness. That's all I'm trying to teach.
Well, that's amazing. I think that is so important. So I mean, if anybody's listening is having any issues and having trouble to become, to be in the moment or be mindful, one of the simplest things that I can think of, and I'm sure you might add to this, is I just try and think about the noises and everything that is going around. So if you're washing the dishes, try and think, so when you're washing the dishes or you're doing dishes, we don't do with dishes anymore, we use a dishwasher, but you know what I mean, you think about the sound of the water. If I'm going for a walk and I'm worried about my mind wandering off about what I'm going to be doing later in the day, I try and still myself and think about the leaves crunching or the sounds that I can hear around me to bring me back to the now. So that's really quite a powerful tool that I use to help me bring me back, because it's just too easy. When you're trying to meditate, you're trying to do affirmations, you'll start and then, oh, what have I got to buy from the supermarket? Or, oh, I've got to make that phone call. So you've got to have some of that still time, and that's not the time to think about your shopping list.
100%. 100%. I actually use sound. That's my one go-to. When I
Yeah.
teach meditation, yeah, that's lesson number one, is how many different sounds can you listen to. I have this bad boy with me at all times.
Yeah. I love it.
So,
I love the bowl.
I try to do my little mindful thing here and there.
Yeah,
I
that
try.
the Tibetan bowl is so, I find that really powerful actually. I think it took me ages to actually make it get a sound. And that was a Tibetan bowl. Is that singing bowl?
Yes, ma'am.
That you've just
Singing
for the podcast listeners. So yeah, it's an amazing sound, and it's actually the vibration of it. You can almost feel it go through your whole body. This sound, can't you?
It resonates with me. So that's part of the reason I started taking Tai Chi so serious. So I'll tell you something kind of interesting. My mother and I practiced Tai Chi together.
Wow.
She's older, but very flexible due to the Tai Chi. But the interesting thing is she has no meditation experience, no mindfulness training, nothing. One day after Tai Chi, about a month of consistent Tai Chi practice, 30 days straight, she stops and she says, I feel like I'm walking on air.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Can you expand? And she said, every movement seems easier. My breathing is better. And nothing feels important. And I'm like, wow, she's accessing mindfulness through
Yeah,
Tai Chi.
that's
Through Tai
amazing.
Chi.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
I can believe that actually. Why I looked into Tai Chi is when I was just slightly having a little bit of a meltdown. I felt like I needed something a bit more, and Tai Chi is one of the most powerful types of meditation. So I can completely believe that actually.
Yeah, it was really powerful because I've been very mental. So to now experience it on the physical level, it just supplements everything that I've done. So one day you and I will Tai Chi.
Yeah.
My invite. I will perform for you if you're ready.
Oh, perfect, perfect. That would be
It'll be fun.
amazing.
Yeah, I
So,
could,
what are your plans now? Where do you see what are you planning for Mindful Wizard?
so that's a good question. I have a little 3-year plan in my head, but for now the main goal is just to continue building awareness to the brand. In 3 years, I aim to make this hopefully my primary source of income, and
Fantastic.
then fully just focus on Mindful Wizard and seminars, talks, podcasts. The goal is to work from home and eventually become or continue to become a paid life coach. So I do life coaching and social emotional coaching. I want to combine both elements
Fantastic.
and get paid to do that.
That's
That's my goal. How
amazing.
about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've just launching my podcast, Feel Fabulous. And through that, I'm continuing my work. I'm going to be doing some online seminars, but ultimately it's the podcast that I really want to concentrate going forward. My work in the clinic, I love. I would never stop doing that. I just love my work. It's been excruciating during this lockdown to not be able to go in actually and work. So that's been really lovely because I'm back in now. In London, we're back. So it's been great. And really just to expand in the same type of area. You know, it's just about helping as many people. I think when you can master something, it's you then need to share it, you know. So I'm not saying we've mastered it, but we're learning, but we're at a certain level, and we're maybe at a different level than some. So it's now about sharing what we've learned and just trying to just expand our knowledge, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're on the same mission. So I'm really excited to see where you go. I know you're going to continue to put amazing content out there, and hopefully we can work on something in the near future. I'm excited.
I'm sure.
About the
I'm sure.
opportunities.
So is there anything else you'd like to tell my listeners?
I love you all.
Oh.
Definitely check me out on Instagram. I put up content daily. I have a weekly podcast if you want to give that a listen. and I'm open to expanding. And if there's any way you ever want to speak to me directly, I'm available. I'm a nice guy. You can send me an email or a message, and that's pretty much it. How about you?
Fabulous. Yeah, you can Hina Solanki, you can Google that, you'll find me almost anywhere on all platforms of social media. Again, open to any collaborations, if anyone out there really has listened to this and are struggling in an area, you can contact me via social media. I'm there to help people. So just contact me, please. If you're in a bad way, you need some advice on anything that we've spoken about. And actually, sorry, just quickly, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, which is important. When I said about me not having medication, I was very lucky and that worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. So if you need medication, you go ahead and you have that medication, because ultimately all we want is for everyone to get better and feel better in whatever situation they're in. So mine was different and I'm very fortunate of that. But obviously, if you are having medication or whatever you need to, antidepressants or just whatever, or stimulants, then that's absolutely, that's fine.
A very valid point. I agree. I'm into the natural, but everyone needs something different, and I don't judge. My doors are open to whoever, and you guys know that. So I just want to thank you, Hina, from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Oh,
so
thank you. Namaste. It's been absolutely lovely speaking with you. I wish you all the very best, and we will definitely have a live too.
Let's do it.
Great.
Maybe we'll add some Thai tea next time.
That would be very interesting. That would be interesting for us. I'm not sure about the listeners, but
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Thanks again. God bless. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.